Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal are paying very close attention to Xavi Simons and Eberechi Eze. News coming in from Fabrizio says that Arsenal really want to sign Xavi Simons if they cannot get Rodrigo. And the price for Xavi Simons is a real market opportunity. £56 million with a few add-ons on top that could take it to around 60 to 63 million. Now, do Arsenal really want to sign Xavi Simons as a Rodrigo replacement or alternative, or do we want to actually sign him as a replacement for Eze? We're going to be discussing all that in the video. But Eze or Xavi Simons, talk to me in the comment box below. They're very, very similar players. They're very, very close in terms of profile, what they can give you. Very versatile, very talented. But if you ask me, I am confused. I'm really, really confused. Like, these are two players I really like. If you remember, at the beginning of this window, I always recommended the signing of Xavi Simons. And that is because I thought Eberechi Eze was going to be very expensive and Arsenal were never going to look there. And we had a lot of breaking stories around May, around April, that the price of Xavi Simons was going to be a little bit cheaper than what people expected. And the player was 100% ready to leave RB Leipzig this summer, despite the fact that he only signed for them almost a year ago. So talk to me in the comment box below. Xavi Simons or Eberechi Eze, who is your favorite? We've seen them. Xavi Simons for the Netherlands, absolute talent of a player. And of course for PSV, we've gone against him actually before, was it in the Europa League or the Champions League, when he was with PSV. That was prior to the World Cup. You remember that team that had the likes of Cody Gakpo, Xavi Simons, and the others. And of course with Eberechi Eze, he scored against Arsenal last season. What a beauty of a goal, by the way. So, who is the player you'd rather have at Arsenal this summer? Let me know in the comment box below. Hit the like button. Well, let's get to some of the facts that have been stated online from Fabrizio to Jacob Benz. So Jacob Benz says that Arsenal and Chelsea have both interested in Xavi Simons, and they both put him on their radar. RB Leipzig haven't had any approaches or bids yet. Well, that's true. And he says that Simons is keen on a Premier League move this summer, and he wants to leave the club this summer as well. His price is 65 million euros, plus a few add-ons that could take the price a little bit higher. But in terms of pounds, it is just 56 million. That is realistically understood to be the price that RB Leipzig will be listening to. Jacob Benz also says that should Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard leave Arsenal this summer, right? Then the Gunners could go on and sign Eberechi Eze and Xavi Simons at once. We could do a double deal for these two brilliant talents. Well, Arsenal are not messing about, are they? Arsenal are not messing about. This summer, we are not messing about. Because, for me, this story is coming out to show people that there is a real possibility that Arsenal don't get Rodrigo. There's a real possibility that the Rodrigo deal becomes too expensive or too complicated. Or maybe the player says, I want to stay for one more season at Madrid and fight for my place. We know how much Madrid is a darling to Rodrigo. We know that the family love Madrid very, very much. And Fabrizio was talking about it this morning. You can go on his YouTube channel and watch. And he was saying, there is this love that Rodrigo has got for Madrid. It's not going to be easily broken. It is going to be heartbreaking for him to leave Madrid to go and sign for any other project around Europe. So that means that Arsenal are aware that you could get Rodrigo under the right conditions and circumstances, but you've got to have a very solid and heavy backup. If you don't get Rodrigo, you go for another player. We've looked at Gordon. Impossible deal to do for me, in my opinion. We've looked at Nico Williams. Impossible deal now that he has signed a 10-year deal. Then we've also looked at Ademola Lookman. Well, Arsenal really value Lookman very, very cheaply because we are told that Atletico Madrid are looking to sign him at 40 million euros. And Arsenal are saying that is too much. We don't value him at as high as 40 million euros. And you cannot blame the team for valuing a player the way they value him. It's their opinion of that player's market price. So Arsenal are looking for an alternative that could come in if we don't get Rodrigo, and they're saying Xavi Simons is that player. But also there is a world, because we've seen multiple reports as well, saying that Chelsea are also interested in Eberechi Eze. Although the player really wants to play for Arsenal only, and he's giving full priority to Arsenal, it wouldn't be surprising if Arsenal lost Eberechi Eze to Chelsea and we signed Xavi Simons, or Simons went to Chelsea and we signed Eberechi Eze. But let's first talk about Simons for a second. He's a player. He's a bowler. And if you're out there and you're like, why are we going for Simons again? He is a fantastic talent. He's a fantastic bowler. And I watch the Spanish national team a lot. And we have gone against him so many times with his Netherlands, colleagues. And what a devastating player to go against. He's so mobile, he's so fluid, he's so comfortable, he's got the right ideas in his head, and his execution is bloody. Absolutely bloody perfect. If you remember, was it Euros or the World Cup? I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Euros. England knocked them out, but the goal that Xavi Simons scores outside the penalty area, the goal that he scores, that is what he's capable of, right? He's this kind of player that literally plays everywhere, very versatile, left wing, right wing, left midfield, right midfield, attacking midfield. He's also played in that number 10 role and a false 9. And what I like about him, there's something I like about Eze, is goals. I like a midfielder that can guarantee me goals. I like a midfielder that can say, maybe I should go for 15 goals this season without penalties, right? And we all enjoyed that season when Martin Odegaard had amazing numbers. Do not you dare lie to me that you didn't enjoy that season. Odegaard scored 15 goals, and this team was tremendous. The levels at which this team was performing were tremendous, because you had Saka at 15, Martinelli at 15, and Martin Odegaard at 15. And Mikel Arteta, as a manager that wants diversification around his team, that really appreciates the ideas of football diversification in terms of getting goals. We go as a collective, and we have so many sources to get goals from. In terms of defending, we go as a collective, but we have so many ways and so many people that are able to help us stop attacks. I think Xavi Simons is a perfect player for him, for his system. He's a very, very perfect player, because in midfield, then he guarantees you that you have at least a player in midfield that can come in with 12 goals. It was pretty embarrassing last campaign. Arsenal didn't have a single player that scored 10 goals and above in the Premier League. Very embarrassing. Now, this is why I am not surprised when Arsenal say, we want Rodrigo. I'm not surprised when Arsenal say, we want Anthony Gordon. I'm not surprised when Arsenal say, we want Eberechi Eze and Xavi Simons. Because that was kind of an all-time low. It wasn't really that bad, because eventually Arsenal finished second, and we can look at that season and say, yeah, wasn't a good one, but we were better than so many clubs. But to show you that the manager felt the effect of that, he's gone and brought players that do the things that we didn't have last campaign. I'm going to talk about Noni Madueke in a separate video. We're going to kind of decipher and disintegrate the reasons why Arsenal signed Madueke. And you're going to be surprised. No Arsenal player carried the ball into the final area, into the final third, more than Noni Madueke. Surprising. And this is a player that all of us were like, why are we doing this deal? But no Arsenal player carried the ball into the final third in the Premier League last season than Noni Madueke. And no Arsenal player averages more shots on goal, or averaged more shots on goal last campaign than Noni Madueke. I think apart from Saka, maybe. And all the other players at Arsenal are behind him. So this was a visionary signing after all. So Xavi Simons, there's so many things that would inspire me about this deal. And number one is the price. He's going to go for 65 million euros. Now, I understand that RB Leipzig signing him from PSG, the overall deal was like 80 million euros, right? But the fixed fee was about 45 to 50 million euros. And the whole idea was there were like 35 million euros in add-ons. So if they sold him this summer and they got 65 million euros, 100% they would have a profit of 50 million euros. So that is why, because I was asking myself, why is this so cheap? It's 1 year and he's just been here, he's just arrived. Why aren't they giving him enough time to develop as a player? And then I realized, oh yeah, they could make a profit as quickly as possible. And RB Leipzig really want to sell in order to reinvest in that squad. That was a bad, awful campaign. They think we didn't see it. We actually saw it. That was a very, very awful campaign from RB Leipzig. So they will need some money. And I think Xavi Simons to them is a replaceable option on the left wing than Benjamin Sesko. Because they're like, how do we replace Benjamin Sesko? And they're also very, very sure that they could keep they could keep Benjamin Sesko for the next 2 years and he will be 25. Or for the next 3 years and he will be just 26. And if he continues developing at the rate at which he's developing, eventually someone is going to give them 100 million. So maybe they've asked themselves, who do we sell? And they're like, let's go with Xavi Simons. Much easier deal. We make a profit, reinvest that money in the squad, and life moves on. So the price for me is right. I don't have a problem with it. If Arsenal are saying that for, what's that price? 65 million euros, we are getting Xavi Simons, I'm okay with that. That is a market opportunity. Number 2, Eze or Simons. Now, this is where it gets tough. This is where it really, really gets tough. Eze or Simons, like both of them. I really, really do. And you look at those two players right there, you look at the celebration, they're calling someone. I don't know if they're calling Arsenal, but definitely Arsenal answered the call. Was it a wrong call? Maybe. Was it a wrong number dialed? Maybe. But here we are, and we're not turning back. So Eze or Simons. Well, I think these are profiles that are very similar. Because when you think about how Arsenal could use Eze, essentially, it's the way Simons operates, isn't it? Like, Eze is like a Bernardo Silva, and Xavi Simons is a Bernardo Silva. I just feel like, I don't know if I'm right, I kind of feel like Simons has a higher ceiling to average Eze. Like, when I think about Eze right now, I kind of feel like, he might not give you more than what he has done at Palace. He might elevate his level a little bit, or even, higher. But I think for Simons, I can see a very, very high ceiling. So if I had to go for one of them, Simons is definitely younger, right? Simons is definitely younger. Because if we look at Simons, you're talking about a 23, 24-year-old. With Ebrech Eze, you're talking about a 27-year-old, right? Who is better? For me, I would go Simons. I love Ebrech Eze. And we're going to talk about that part where Arsenal could sign both of them, because that interests me more, right? That really interests me more. That's the whole point of this video, by the way. Sorry. But the reason as to why I really enjoy Simons is at 24, even if Madueke doesn't work out, even if Martinelli has a bad season, even if Odegaard has a bad season, like, just think about it would be very, very difficult for us to say Eze for left wing. But it's easy for me to say Simons at left wing. It's easy for me to say Simons at right wing, Simons in the 10, Simons in the 8. I think Arsenal, like, in terms of investment, they would cost almost the same price. Simons is just a much better option, isn't he? It's just a much better option. And I think Arsenal need to go for Xavi Simons if they had to pick between the two. And I know I've butchered this, and I know I've made some people angry because I love Eze myself, and I know many Arsenal fans really love Eze. But for me, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Xavi Simons is the much better player. But then there is this article, and I really appreciate this from Jacob Benz. Thank you so much. Like, you just saved my life. He says that if one of Trossard and Martinelli leaves, which we know one of them is going to leave, then Ebrech Eze and Xavi Simons becomes a real possibility for Arsenal. I don't think we get both of them. I think we admire both of them. But I don't think we get both of them. Why? Honestly, think about it. Why would Chelsea let you have both of them? They're interested in Eze. they're interested in Simmons, why would they be like, well, let's let Arsenal have two very versatile attacking midfielders that can also play on the final line. And then let us starve. Let us just have Kopama. End of story. They can't. So I think one goes to Chelsea, one goes to Arsenal. It's as simple as that. And if that's the case, I think Eze will go to Arsenal because Arsenal have given him his word and he has given Arsenal his word. So there would be reciprocity in terms of loyalty. So I think Eze goes to Arsenal and then Xavi Simons goes to Chelsea. And of course, Chelsea always have this, crazy breaking of deals. Like I'm recording this and then I go back online and they've just finished the signing of Xavi Simons. I think they could do it quicker. They've not done a lot of deals this summer, and Arsenal have to, pump some money into the bank by selling in order for us to go again. So I think Xavi Simons would go to Chelsea and Eze would come to Arsenal. If it is Simons or Rodrigo, it's Rodrigo for me. If it is Simons or no one else, it is Simons for me. If it is Simons or Eze, it is Simons for me, right? And I hope I'm right about this one. I hope I'm right about this one because we might disagree a lot, but if you can let me know your honest thoughts, then respectfully, then I will respectfully and gladly take that feedback, I guess.